Hello, hello? Can you hear me now? Can anybody hear me? There we go. So let's see, desktop audio should be... If I just go default, will that work? No. Seems like my settings have been reset, and I don't know why. I'm not seeing audio coming through. Okay, I believe that has fixed the audio problem. I still have no idea what league I need to be looking at. And as I was saying earlier, a competent caster would have figured out what the league is before stream start. There's no search option in here. Why is there no search option here? Why would there be no search option in live? Okay, so it should be in Rebbl. The only competitions are playoffs in redraft. For the Rebbl playoffs, is it playoffs too? No, the only team here is... Someone should know, um... That's so I can see I have what the competition name is, but I don't have what that competition belongs to. Uh, 7 active competitions. Competitions. Oh, okay. If I go, do I need to go to manage? There we go. That's the problem. Okay, I now have is I hate this interface. I hate it so much. Are they live yet? No. I hate this game's interface. Its UI is awful. Okay, so let's take a look at the teams now. So, we have Orcs versus Elven Union, so let's take a look at the Elven Union first. So, the Skinny Orcs. We're starting out with 2 throwers, one of which is leader and dodge. Blodge step, a diving tackle, and a guard blitzer. Wrestle strip catcher makes sense. A blodge catcher, a dodge catcher. I believe that's only a random level, so we might not see that level get taken. A kick catcher, which makes sense. Probably, yeah, that's fine. That makes sense. 11 players, 3 rerolls, and 1300 TV. So all in all, not bad. I don't know how many games this has. 9 games. Okay. Not a bad setup for 9 games. 5 dodge pieces is going to be a pain depending on what the orcs have. I mean, this setup makes perfect sense to me. I probably would have tried to funnel SPP into the catchers a little bit more. I feel like I probably would have gone with only one thrower instead of two, but I'm also not a pro off coach. So I could be wrong. Hey Julian, long time no see. Moving on to San Fran Smorcs. They have 12 players. 1, 2, 3, 4 blockers. A block armbar player. I am assuming that this was a random skill. 120, so that's 30 TV ups. Yeah, so that's half. That's a random. I personally, this is at 0 SPP. So I'm assuming that this is I want to get an additional skill for finals, and I hope it's useful. So I could understand that, but I 100% would not random a skill on on a big unblocker. These things are so hard to level that wasting any SPP on a skill that just isn't consistently useful is so problematic. Yeah, like this skill, like sure it'll be maybe hopefully useful, but it's just not going to be consistently useful. Like you need this to be like guard. But yeah, so these Black Orcs are real low on SPP. Possibly something may have died and been replaced. 1, 2, 3, 4 blitzers. Fresh blitzer, 3 guard blitzers, a break tackle. I'm assuming that's a random. 110. Yeah, so those two are random skills. Dauntless is okay. Similarly, I personally wouldn't random skills on blitzers because they're kind of the workhorse of the team. Like, you kind of need them to be consistently doing things. But at the same time, they're a lot easier to level than your big ones, so I can understand some randoms. But not having tackle here is going to hurt. Like if this piece had tackle, so we have a goblin, fresh, makes sense, but there's no troll. So goblins don't really do anything if you don't have a troll. If you have a troll to throw the goblin, I like having a goblin. But if you don't have troll, he's just a worse lineman. In which case, why have the goblin? And yes, the roster order kind of hurts me a little bit. It could be on purpose. It could be a tactic. I have seen more than one person purposely make their roster difficult to read by just moving players around randomly, and it hurts me. But yeah, no tackle. This is going to be a rough game. Only one mighty blow to bring down numbers. That's possibly going to be hard. Block on both linemen. Yeah, only 2 linemen. Whoops. Are they live? They do not appear to be live. Come on, game. There we go. Yeah, if you're not going a troll, I think you go either goblin or thrower, but not both. I don't know the history of this team. Perhaps they had a troll that died recently. As for the thrower, leader is alright. Block, dodge, that makes sense. Leader, Orcs, your rerolls are pretty cheap. You've already got 3 rerolls. Oh, is the competition not started? This is in Rebbl, so I should actually be able to do that. I believe this is where I need to do it. Let's see the schedule set up, yes? Schedule is not set up because it hasn't been started. Of course not. We have 2 teams in here, so I should be good to just start manually. Scheduled. They have scheduled. Good. Well, it was a good thing that you had an admin casting. So they should be getting started momentarily. But again, as for this thrower, as someone who has played an extensive amount of Orcs, you really want to get like block kickoff return, because only having 5 movement for that kickoff really hurts. You know, rookie league, rookie admins. Yeah, you know. We're training. We're apparently also training the admins. Are they live yet? There we go. But yeah, 45 petty cash, so we might see like a keg. Looks like he's just going to coaching assistants. If this were Rebbl playoffs, we probably would have seen him spend money on buying the bomber, which I don't hate bomber in this matchup, especially because you don't have tackle to inflict some injuries. I'm not sure if the rookie league has different rules as per financial fair play, because if they have the same rules, then the financial fair play wouldn't be applying yet. Bazik, I know you can't do it in future competitions. As the overdog, you can't spend. As the underdog, I don't think you can at all. Like, period. The game just doesn't let you. I know in future competitions we now have financial fair play rules, but I don't know if college has specific rules, or if they're applying that new rule to this competition. Yeah. But we're just seeing standard-ish elf screen. This hole is kind of weird. I probably would have, like, extended each of these out like this. So like this row would be here, this row would be here, and I would apply tackle zones to this whole square. And then you just move this over, and you got tackle zones here and like here-ish. But it's kind of fine. It's just a little concerning because there's this giant hole in the center for Orcs to stream through. Yeah, I mean, that's an option that this Orc coach probably did not think of, simply because he's never seen it. The only reason I was thinking of it is because I've seen it a dozen times. This is a bit deep in terms of receiving. There is a kick piece though, so I can understand that. Looks like the Orcs earn an additional reroll. Wait, no, not the Orcs, the skinny Orcs. Oh, that's gonna be confusing. Yeah, so the skinny Orcs are up to 5 rerolls. That's quite a lot. First block, fine. I probably would move these somewhere relevant. Like this big one blocker, especially if like one of these quad skulls. The action's gonna be down here. This big one blocker is just gone. Just a stun off of that. Money will hit is next. Oh, we're not taking a mighty blow hit, and that's not a block hit either. What are we blitzing? We're gonna blitz this thrower? Move, like, this orc lineman over here, and then blitz the thrower with mighty blow? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah, that's safe. I am slightly concerned that this ball is just open. Like, they can't get to it? Actually, they can get to it. That's really concerning, actually. Because they could, like, set up a cage, like, a sideline cage, like here. And sure, it's only it's passing 4+, but that's entirely doable. Oh, we only have 2 minutes of time bank. I don't know if that's intentional. GFI? Okay, so that makes the path shorter, but I don't like adding a GFI there. Okay, we do not have 2 minutes of time bank. The timers are just set to 2 minutes by default and are only initialized to their actual value when they start ticking. That's some interesting design. Okay, we're not blitzing with Mighty Blow. I do not like this. He makes the pickup. I guess we're gonna put a Black Orc here and then blitz this player? We're blitzing here with the big gun. Okay. We got the POW. No break. So, the issue here is we had a blitz with block Mighty Blow. And then we chose to take a blitz with outblock or Mighty Blow over here. So not only was this less effective of a block, it was not as safe. And now we've just left this Orc lineman in base contact, so we've just given him a free block for no reason. I've questioned those decisions. My play would have been Orc lineman here, blitz through this way into this thrower with block Mighty Blow. Blitzer would have gone back here and would have been surrounded. He would have been fine. And then those players could fall back here. We would have ended up in roughly the same position. Just with having taken a block Mighty Blow hit. So the elves have opened a path. I just don't know what they do with this path. They could cut the orc team in half. My concern is if they cut the orc team in half, the various guard pieces just collapse on them. He's taking the blitz. He's going to not step in. Which, this isn't a sidestepper, so I don't blame him. So now he needs to make it so the orcs can't just collapse on this. And I'm not sure that... Uh-oh. He has 5 rerolls, but I'm not sure that's worth... I'm not sure that's worth rerolling. Doesn't reroll it, he's fine. So how do the orcs respond to this? Reminder, they have no tackle. So there's no guarantee that they can knock any of these players down. This is a sidestepper, so if he makes this and doesn't knock down, doesn't find the POW, then it's going to go on the ball. Which is a problem. So you probably want to move the ball first. You could take a Mighty Blow hit on this blitzer, but that's also sidestep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The blitz is here, and also not with Mighty Blow. Gets the knockdown. Gets a stun. Mighty Blow would not have mattered for that one, but still. Okay, so Cage is going to come up here. I can understand that. And I guess the Blitz was kind of necessary to make the space for this Cage to exist not being based. Yeah, I don't mind slotting in guard there. That's excessive. You don't need this many players in the cage. Putting the guard here was fine because you were probably going to be punching this blitzer. But putting both these players here seems excessive to me. You're now just not taking up enough space. What? Why even leave the square open? Okay. Yep. Not having tackle. This blitzer's just gonna stand. Probably come down either here or here. The meat cube has been formed. I am beginning to become concerned that none of the blitzes are taking advantage of this player's Mighty Blow. And you really want to leverage that as often as you can in order to try to get some removals. Like this elf team has no bench. Getting one or two removals here would be great. Red dyeing the ball is really not great because it's blotch, and he has no tackle. What even is a red dye searching for a pal? Let's bring up the action calculator. Block -2, 1 success. A red dye searching for a pal with 1 reroll is 0.5%. It is a 5% play. If you don't use a reroll, it's a 1% play. So I would say no, you do not dive the ball. That's unfortunate. That's probably a reroll this early in the turn. That's really unfortunate. So the blitz is probably going onto this player, and you almost certainly do it with Mighty Blow. 6, you don't even have to move anything except for creating a assist. No, hit the catcher with Mighty Blow, please. He's at least made his follow-up block, but use your Mighty Blow. Use your skills. So the Orcs have now cleared a path. I would expect them to take this blitzer and move maximal movement, try to make as much space as possible in this direction. Try to prevent the elves from wrapping around you and cutting you off for as long as possible. I probably wouldn't be making the rush before moving players that don't have to rush, but yeah. This is shadowing, yes? That's Dauntless. Why does Dauntless look like a big shadow? So this is where I would be thinking about where I'd want my guard pieces placed, because this is the type of formation I would expect the elf player to be desperate and attempt to dive in. Again, I would be moving players that don't have to roll dice to get where I want them before I roll the dice. I'm not sure how I feel about these two positions, because if both these players were one square over, the elf would have to dive into 3 squares, or -3 squares as opposed to -2. But at the same time, it's really hard for the elves to even get in here. Like, this is just a big cube. Are there worlds where there's a push play here? Like, kind of. You red dye this black orc, and if you get a push, you can push into here, which sends the orc there. And then you can red dye with, I don't know, wrestle? No, because that would be the blitz. Yeah, there's no good push play here. At least not one I'm seeing. Yeah, so the elves are now just going to try to get in front of this. They're gonna have to GFI to set up the elf screen. In which case, I would put these two players 1 square back and try to GFI to get linemen in front of them. Because I'd rather be taking hits on the lineman than, say, the kick catcher. Oh, that's a 1 dice goal. This time the block is with block, and so it will not be a turnover. I'm not entirely sure what the plan is following these actions, because these two linemen are just not moving. Yeah, so if these linemen were just going to go somewhere and they don't need dice, move them first. If that was a skull into a skull, these linemen are just here. But they needed no dice to get over here. Alright, so we set up a bit of an elf screen. Probably need this elf to dodge out and go like here. That also works. Yeah, so the orcs are really pinned in here, which is why I don't like this like massive square formation that we've been doing. But at the same time, the orcs have 4 additional turns after this one. So they could just sort of walk forward 1 square a turn, and they would probably push through the elves just fine. So the question becomes, does Flapjack want to pressure in this direction and try to split the elf team in 2? Or does he want to just go straight up and, like, blitz here and push this elf here and have him pinned to the sideline? He's blitzing with Mighty Blow finally. He gets the knockdown. Immediately a stun. Mighty Blow didn't do anything that time, but we have used it. The stun is a little awkward for positioning, but it's fine. You just put an orc here and an orc here. Although, where do you put the ball? Is the ball gonna have to go like here? Not particularly jazzed about that. It might have to go here, in which case the cage is based, which is not great. Marking up elves. Yep, the ball is in the middle of the big cage. I do not like this position. There's gotta be a play where you can just push this orc, this thrower, out of the cage and make him free to blitz. Oh god, it is just a cube. Okay, well this is now an easy play. You move this, you dodge out here. You one die blitz this orc lineman. He gets pushed into the thrower gets pushed here. And now you have a one die on the ball. And if the one die doesn't knock down this blitzer, then you have bodge step diving tackle on the ball. Even worse, you have a one die here. Hit the thrower. Thrower is being pushed down. So that probably means you go here. Which means you have a one die hit on the thrower with follow-up blocks. Fails the first one. Gets the push though. I disagree with that direction. Unless he's looking at somehow surfing. That's a -4 dodge in, so that would be questionable. Gets a knockdown on this black orc, which I believe allows this to be a 2-die. But yeah, I disagree with this direction, because if you'd push the other way, your blitz could have pushed the thrower into these elves, and then you have follow-up blocks. So that would get you, like, 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 dice on the ball. Gets the POW, though. I don't know how you're going to recover this, because it's going to be in the middle of a mess of orcs, though. Which was the other plus of sending it the other direction. Gets a KO! That's actually pretty massive. Have the orcs used their leader reroll? Scatters out. Ball is scattering long. It is in wide open territory. This elf can just pick it up and run away. That is devastating. So, like, you move this elf, like, there. And now you just pick it up and run away? That is devastating. Okay, we're not doing that. We're instead rolling more dice to get it on the dodge piece, when all we had to do was 2+ and run over here, and then we're out of range of everything but, like, yeah, everything. But this is, you know, pretty safe. And this is the big problem of the cube, is you give up all of your space, so you don't have... You have less options because you've hemmed yourself into this tiny space, because you're taking no field position. And then anytime you're based, everything gets chain pushed. Now, I don't know how you recover from this. Do you just go for damage and hope that you do enough? Because this is sidestepper, so you fill this square and all of these squares, and then you can surf him? You can surf them both? I don't know. Orcs don't have a lot of options here. seems to be just marking as many of these orcs, these elves as he can, and then blitzing into the cage, which is probably the best he can do. Yeah, just marking as many elves running away as possible and hoping that's enough, forcing him to roll dice. That's probably as good as it's gonna get. I would definitely be blocking with these players, though. Okay, he's dodging. Uses the reroll to dodge away. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so he can surf this guy, which is not bad. Does leave this guy to 2+ away, which is a bit unfortunate. Why are we doing that? I guess that was a red die surf, but a red die surf with everything but skulls is probably about the same as a 3+. Or, well, it's worse, but if you're willing to use a reroll for it. So let's see. 3+ dodge, 66% with no reroll. Red die, 5 successes. Yeah, a red die with 5 successes, no rerolls, 69%. So you actually would be better off making the red die hit as opposed to the 3+ dodge. Yep, and Black Orc gets his armor broken, but that's fine because he's going to be basically out of the game either way with that knockdown. This block doesn't change anything. Like, regardless of what you're doing, you're running over here and almost certainly making this sideline cage. So you should be blitzing with the ball. I mean, it has block. And you can still get over here. And you can screen this position off. Using these elves. So that's fine. He's not advancing the ball. What? My dude, you've made it so that these orcs basically can't get around in front of you. All you need is the ball and two elves here. Why are you giving the orcs time to react to this? Also, you're moving elves forward and I mean, this is mostly safe, but I would 100% just take the 4+ dodge through to hit the ball. Yep, fair enough. So you remember how we were talking before about the desperation play of a red die without tackle on the ball? We're probably in that position, so like last action, I would seriously consider last action blitz through. But fortunately for you, the elves have left a world where you just blitz through this lineman, and you get like 2 players in front of this blitzer. And now the ball has to roll dice to do anything. And you can put like this black orc there to make it harder to knock this guy down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, just marking more elves. Fair enough. moving pieces that don't need to roll dice before moving pieces that do need to roll dice. All of that makes sense. What are the orcs looking at? Because I would be looking at blitzing through the ballista here and just setting up 2 players here, forcing the ball to roll dice to go anywhere. Yep, and that's what he's looking at too. Uh-oh. Not blitzing with block. Gets a push, that's good enough. Yeah, so you put the black orc like probably here? You probably put him there, and then put the guard here. But the reverse should be fine. 2, 3, 6, go for it. 2 GFIs and you're on this side of him. So he can't dodge backwards, so he has to go like this way. Which means he has to knock down this, he has to move this biggin. Which you have the players to make awkward. Gets a knockdown. Uh-oh. Just a stun. Does buy him a more direct path through with the lineman, saving him a square. Yeah, so this is why I wanted to move the ball down here. Because if you move the ball down here and have an elf like here and here, the only player that could react and get anywhere close enough to interact with that player would be this biggin blocker. So you would go from like 4 orcs that could potentially interact with the play to 1, which is a lot more manageable. But now the ball has to roll dice practically no matter what you do. He could fill both these squares and try to blitz through. Okay, he's just dodging off. That works too. And this is why I wanted to move that blitzer with GFIs around behind. Because now the elf is just gone. And there's no catching it. Although, I think he needs to 1-die this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, go for it. So if 3 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1-die without tackle, not good odds, but it's odds that should not exist. This guy can at best mark the ball. Oh, that's a failed dodge. Use the dodge skill. Dodge is a good skill. Yeah, I'm slightly concerned that this blitzer is being left a path. I would GFI here and make this a 2-die. Now, yeah, you gotta re-roll that. Gets the knockdown. Wow, all he needed was a push to make that play impossible, so it's like 4 successes on a 1-die. Yeah, which is something like the equivalent of a 3 plus dodge. It's either 65 or 66, I forget which. Okay, if you're just blitzing the hurt pieces, you should probably be blitzing with your Mighty Blow. The Mighty Blow could even get there. So that's a 7, so Mighty Blow wouldn't have mattered with those rolls, but like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there was no reason not to use your Mighty Blow to hit that piece. You're paying for the skill. Use the skill. Yep, and the elves just gonna take their additional turn, make it so the orcs have nothing to do after they score. Yep, free knockdown. Oh. That's a KO. Yeah, and now we're blitzing the Mighty Blow piece because it just sat here and didn't move and got no support. Gets knocked down. He's fine, but maybe the blitz will remind him that this piece exists. And yeah, I don't see anything worth fouling, so that would be the turn. Dodging that away. I would have put him one more square to the right, just so that the Mighty Blow piece couldn't blitz this. Because I 100% would do the GFIs to blitz this catcher with Mighty Blow. This is probably a 3-die. No, it's not. Gets the knockdown though. Mighty Blow? Nope. Does not do a thing. Could he have made that a 3-die? Probably. Like, move this Black Hook one more square down. Any one of these pieces going here, and then like that guy there. Yeah, and now I just wouldn't do anything, I would just score. Put yourself 1-0 up going into your own drive. Like, that's massive. So, that blitzer does not come back. Going into the second half, the elves are 1-0 up over the orcs. The orcs still have, both sides still have ammo. The orcs are down 1 KO'd blitzer, which means that to field 11 players, they have to put their goblin on the field. Meanwhile, the elves still have all 11 players. They have not lost anyone, they got their KO back. The only thing they need to be wary of is the goblin diving into like a sideline cage and pushing a player who isn't sidestep off the pitch. Yeah, it looks like the elves are just not engaging with this, which is fair enough. Meanwhile, in terms of time bank, the elves have 5 minutes and 30 seconds left in time, so they have plenty of time to work with. And at the same time, our orcs are down to 3 minutes and 36 seconds, which is not a massive amount of time if we're looking at a situation where you're at best going into overtime. If the orcs can turn over and score, odds are good that we're seeing overtime, in which case 3 minutes 36 seconds for 2 additional halves of Blood Bowl is not enough. Hey, Trouk. Yeah, so that makes me a little bit concerned. All in all, I would say the elves are in a very strong position. Yep, just moving some players to get in front of the ball. I'm not sure that's super necessary. I guess, like, the biggins, if you fail, could get on top of it. This is a lot. We're giving up a lot of territory. The strategy has now become evident. We are now going for the Daka play. We are just disengaging entirely and letting the orcs come to us. And when they overcommit, we are then running down the field as fast as possible and daring them to stop us. Yeah, so all elves have now disengaged. Yeah, and so now it's going to be at least one GFI in order to blitz any of these players. This is a strategy I'll admit, I was not expecting out of a rookie league coach. So this will be interesting to see how this is executed and how the orc coach reacts. And it looks like the orc coach is not like overcommitting. They're just slowly advancing down the field. I would probably send 2 players forward so I could blitz. I would like to hit an elf with Mighty Blow. But other than that, this is entirely reasonable. The Black Orcs being on the wings, it also makes it harder for the elves to blitz through. It's possible that Flapjack has seen this strategy get executed previously in previous games, and that's why he set up with the Black Orcs on the wings like he did. Yep, and now the elves are just going to fall back an equal number of squares. There's not a lot to say about what is happening right now. He's just moving his players backwards, putting the less important ones up front. Yeah, and now we're probably just going to see a repeat of last turn. The orcs are moving more squares forward, but staying in the same formation by the looks of it. They seem to be considering something. I am slightly concerned that all the guard is here. Because the elf players have guard, all you gotta do is put a guard here and blitz this way, and now you've opened a hole. Admittedly, if they're opening a hole here, there's not a lot of players that can get very far. I would also probably want to have the Mighty Blow center, so that it could react to either side. But admittedly, without tackle, the Mighty Blow hit and just a regular Blitzer hit are roughly the same. Yep, and now the elves are going to make their move. Probably blitzing with the thrower? Oh, blitzing with the wrestle. That's fair enough. Yep, and blitzing with the wrestle was the right call, though it does put a body in the way. He might... Nope, he's taking the wrestle. So this is now adding a 2+ dodge to everything that he attempts to do. I also don't like blitzing this way because there's more players that can react. And if you get forced in, if you felt like you were forced into a sideline cage, the goblin could just surf you. I feel like I would Despite the fact that it puts me on the side with the Mighty Blow, I probably would have blitzed here, because the players that can react are closer on this side than on this side. Makes the first dodge through. The thrower's, I guess it's giving it to this thrower? He might hand off and then run up here and then throw the ball somewhere. I'm not sure where the players are going. This wrestle catcher going down as opposed to going like up here is actually a big problem. So he started the breakthrough, but he's not making any advances. He makes the pass. I guess the ball's going like here? No, he's going through. He's gonna GFI. Fails the GFI, so that's another reroll. Double fails it. Yeah, double fails it. That's a big problem. We have a game on our hands. Yeah, it almost feels like with the wrestle happening and the catcher going down, you needed to wait an additional turn to try to break through. Just because of what it did to your movement and the fact that you wouldn't be able to pass to this catcher who would be like behind the screen. But at the same time, this is also going on. This is also a credit to the Orc player who made his defense wide enough and consistent enough to where the elves were feeling like they were being choked out and they needed to make a move then. So he correctly managed to apply pressure, and that forced the elves into that decision, and now they decided they had to roll dice. They failed the dice rolls. So the question becomes, how do you take advantage of this? You almost certainly have to hit the sidestepper. But what do you do before you hit the sidestepper? Because ideally, you blitz through this elf. Probably with this black orc. But I'm not sure what you do after that. Gets the POW on the sidestepper. So that bludge that player is going down. I probably foul this catcher. I would 100% follow that. Base this catcher with an additional player and clear your space to move the goblin here, which clears space for this black orc to blitz through. I don't know where the blitz is going now, because neither of these players can reach it, which means it's like a goblin red one die? Nope, goblin is going on the ball, which means now the black orc can... I don't know how I feel about that turn. But he has put a considerable amount of force on the ball. And I don't know how the elves dislodge this. Especially with that movement right there. So like a 1 die here. Stay, hope you get the knockdown, and then you blitz like here? Like, you fill this square, you blitz here, you push into the goblin that goes on the ball, and you hope scatter's good? He's not filling that square. So he's blitzing the... Okay, he's blitzing the black orc, which is just infinitely better than the nonsense I was just talking about. Scatters the ball, goes out. Scatter, it goes out again. Looks like it's going back to the orcs. It's outside again. Throw in. This is some nonsense. The throw in is back where it went the first time, and in wide open space. The elves' luck with throw in is insane. But he has filled his dodge. He managed to make it with dodge. So this is another reason why I wouldn't have left the players where they were. I would have put the goblin a square. The goblin would have been adjacent to this catcher, so it would have been standing here, which would have cut off. Gets the push down with the reroll, but it would have cut off that blitz angle. Just from the goblin standing right here. And it would have kept this catcher from providing an assist. Makes the dodge, fails the pickup, so that's going to be another reroll burned. You almost certainly have to use the reroll. Because you're scrambling now, so he makes the reroll, makes the pickup. Does he just dodge, put a player here, and dodge this guy out to go like here? It just runs as far away as possible. This orc is in range, but he's marked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they're not catching him. If we had a troll to throw a goblin, this would be a scary place to stand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go for it, go for it. Oh, that's a failed dodge. Uh-oh. He's stunned, so he's gonna be back at least. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go for it. Is there a world where you have a push play here? I don't think there is. Surely not. So, you need to prevent these elves from, like, getting the ball and moving downfield. And you kind of really want to pin this guy against the sideline. So you probably mark a bunch of elves here. And then you, like, blitz this guy? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go for it. Pin him to the sideline. Doesn't look like there's a world where you can push the Black Orc closer. Although, theoretically, you figure out how to make this blitz go this way. You fill in this square. Then you could block this elf this way. But that would require the blitz, which would kind of defeat the point. And you'd be just as good to just blitz here, and then just do the GFIs. Makes the push on that elf, so his plan is to go this way. 4, 5. But like, his path is so much less clear without the knockdown. Just stun. 1, 2. Makes the dodge true. 1 GFI, 2 GFIs. That player is now pinned on the sideline, but these guys can blitz him free. It's just the question is, like, what do you do after that? And also, I would have made all of these moves before doing any of this dice. This thrower is going to be unstunned next turn. Also, instead of putting this blitzer here, I would have put him 1 score down. Because then this lineman can't dodge out this way to matter. Blitz. Gets the knockdown. He takes the push, so he's going for the surf. I would 100% follow that. Because I need to be applying a tackle zone. There we go. Gets the surf. And I don't hate this play, because it's setting up the cage around the ball, protecting the ball, it's removing an orc, and the elves don't need to score. They're 1-0 up. Like, not scoring this half is just fine with them as long as the orcs also don't score. And this is the other reason why I would have preferred blitzing the other piece and double GFIing the black orc. Because the black orc was a lot harder to do this play to. And would have allowed the thrower to apply a tackle zone to some of the players that just made that play. Last reroll is gone, so this is a little bit sketchy. Oh, dodge. Dodge is fine. He's made a super strong screen, though. Like, what do the orcs do against that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go for it, go for it. They can mark with a black orc, and that's about it. That dodge fails. So these two elves need to be marked. These elves need to be prevented from going places. These elves need to be prevented from going places. Which leaves you, like, maybe 4 players? He's doing the GFIs. But, again, none of these players need to roll dice to get where they need to go. Move these players first. If you rolled a double 1 on either of those GFIs, that's 2, 4, 6 players just out of the game. Makes a push. So he's applying tackle zones places. But again, we have 6 players that don't need dice to get where they need to go. The elves are out. I don't know if I agree with that, GFI. The elves are out of rerolls, which means every bit of dice that you make them roll is just an increased chance that they're just going to turn over. Marking that elf, we need to put like 2 orcs here to prevent them from going this way. And we need to prevent these elves from doing things. We need to prevent these elves from doing things. Well, you probably just put like the black orc there, and then like a blitzer here or here. Is either of these warriors is fine. Yeah, that's fine. I am concerned, like, okay, we're just leaving these 2 elves alone. I'm not sure I agree with that. Put a goblin on this piece? Okay. He is forcing a lot of dice out of this corner. I don't like that position too much. I feel like this player needed to be back here applying tackle zones. I'm not entirely sure where. In fact, I probably would have put him like there. But at the same time, like, this is a really strong position. So, like, these elves practically have to come backwards to apply a tackle zone on this goblin in order for this catcher to get through this side. So I don't hate this. Uh-oh. Double 1's the dodge. Okay, that's really bad. Do you just had hit with the black hack orc? I think you first action hit with this black orc to see where the ball goes. I don't think you do anything else. Because depending on scatter, everything changes, and you have a lot of players tied up, so you need the ones that aren't tied up. Ah, that's a block that doesn't matter. That block is not hitting the player on the that has the ball. Hit the ball with block. This also doesn't have block, which means this block was less safe than the one that is objectively correct. You've already applied. This is already a 2-die. Strength 4. This guy is cancelled because of this guy. Hit the ball, please. Thank you. See, and now you have information. So where does the ball go? Ball scatters again. Why does it keep going directly to the elves in wide open spaces? What is this? Hacks. I call hacks. That is 3 times now the Orcs have managed to knock the ball. There's 3 times the ball has been knocked out of bounds and has gone directly to a wide open space directly beside an elf. That is just not fair. That's so unfortunate. I probably just surf this elf. Okay, not a surf, but he makes a knockdown. I would also be like moving these players first. Do you go for the pickup? Also, we still have the blitz. So who do you blitz? Do you blitz this guy so that this black orc can get on the ball? Alright, so just a rush. So he's just marking the ball. I think I 100% I blitz this catcher and make it so that makes it so this big unblocker can come like stand right there. Doesn't do that, but he does knock down the catcher. Are we blitzing with the mighty? Well, no, he's marked. I wouldn't make that block at all. I would just leave this sidestepper trapped. Who are we blitzing with? We're just not using the blitz. Wait, no, the blitz was this guy, right? No, he was marked. Yeah, we just didn't use a blitz. I 100% would blitz this guy and get this big un on the ball. Like, now there's just a massive man disadvantage, and now we just lose. The Orcs have lost off of that one play. Okay. Or not. What is this nonsense? Also, they didn't stand this guy up. They should have you stand this guy up, because even though he's gonna get surfed, you want to continue that man disadvantage in case of bad dice. Because now this orc is free. Where are we on turns? The Orcs have 1 additional turn. And again, because the Orcs are at a man disadvantage because they left this big gun over here, I don't think they can actually score. I don't know how they make this safe. There's the blitz. Doesn't get the knockdown, but he does remove him from the ball. Which unfortunately means this blitzer is probably going to have to dodge. So you just stand like... Yeah, I think standing there is fine. I think that maximizes scatter outcomes. I don't agree with that pickup. I think you dodge out. How? I'm just looking at this. How do we make this safe? And I don't think we do. I don't think there's a world we can. Like, we've just moved the dodge piece closer. Goblin fails. I think you double one. There's a lot of double ones on dodges today. So now what? What is your best play? You dodge with dodge here and mark him, and then you dodge with dodge here to blitz him with block sidestep, right? Is there any other play? I don't think there is. Where is this guy in position? He needs to double GFI to score. Makes the first dodge. Makes the second dodge. Gets the knockdown. I think that's just game. Where does the ball scatter? The ball doesn't even scatter to the sideline. Yeah, that's just game. And this again entirely comes down to 2 to 3 turns ago when the Orcs just had a player that they could have freed up and brought over and just didn't. Like, having an additional player to make this like an actual screen would have been massive. But he didn't. Yeah, I think that's just game, because this is diving tackle. So these two probably aren't getting in the end zone. That's a failed dodge. So what is the world where we end up with the ball in the end zone for the Orcs? Block here. Probably GFI blitz to scatter this ball. If the ball scatters down into the left, 4+4+3+, like, long bomb to, like, probably this guy. Okay, so he clears this orc. So this orc is now free to score. So he probably is the guy we're passing to, right? So that means we probably still have to blitz with this guy. So it's a block here to push him onto the ball, and then hopefully the scatter's good. If the scatter's bad, we just end turn. Also, mind you, 35 seconds left in the time bank. So we have 75 seconds as of right now to make this play. Also, this is a lineman, so he's got 2 squares of movement, and then you're making a 4+ pass. So that's like a 6+ pass, probably. Gonna have to make a move soon, Flapjack. You're down to 35 seconds of time. And then your game... Oh! Okay. So we're blitzing that way, which does technically maximize scatter, does maximize your chance to pick up the ball, because we're now not going for a scatter. So this is like 3+4+3+2+2+1,000,000? Or 4+4+? Well, you reroll that, because you have nothing better to do. Nope. And so, our champions are Bob Crumb and the Skimmy Orcs. And I've been kicked back to this screen because this game sucks and I don't get to look at the post-game screen. Schedule. Yeah. Ooh. MVP on a big unblocker is not bad. Yeah, congratulations, Bob. Oh no, I 100% agree with surfing that trailer. I think that was like the correct decision. Like removing that orc from play. I think that was 100% correct. I 100% would have done that. Yeah, it's the big one that already has a bunch of SPP and a skill that's not particularly useful. So if we're looking at block actions, 32 to 23, that's not a big advantage. And only one additional KO because we didn't blitz with Mighty Blow half the time. 1 yard of rushing, that's kind of funny. Eight out of 9 dodges. They were pretty much all 2+, so that's fair. Oh no, this is the Orcs. 39-45. So failed 6 dodges. So yeah, that seems about right. Yeah, I think that seems about right in terms of 18 out of 19 GFIs. Yep. I am not certain how it calculates this number. I think it counts it for every roll in a dodge. So if dodge triggers, that is an additional number. I know how it worked in Blood Bowl 2, and I believe that's how it worked. I don't know how this stat screen works in Blood Bowl 3, but I have no reason to believe it would work differently, other than the fact that cyanide are bad. Yeah. Yeah. So, that has been the Rebbl College Playoff Finals. I have been Cheesy X. Commiserations to Flapjack. Congratulations, Bob. If you have enjoyed this casting, go ahead and give me a follow. I am not streaming a lot at the moment because we're between seasons, but once we get into the Rebbl season proper, I make an effort to cast every game played in my division every week, be that through replays or live. So if you've enjoyed this casting and me talking nonsense plays, I will be doing that a lot once the season starts. If you want to watch the VOD of this or any other games that I have streamed, they will be up on my YouTube channel, which is under the same name. That's it for me. I'll be signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed.